1 Kings 8:16 and 17. Since the day that I brought forth my people, this is God speaking, out of people of Israel out of Egypt, I chose no city out of all the tribes of Israel to build a house, that my name might be there. But I choose David to be over my people Israel. So David's anointed and appointed as king. God's reminding Nathan this, and Nathan's sharing this with David. Would later share this with David, or is sharing this with David at this point in time. This is just recount because this is after the temple was built. So God chose David's line to be king. Jesus would ultimately come through David's line, however, not through Solomon. So David had a special place. Yet no city was chosen. The temple, tabernacle, was able to be up and move from place to place. The Spirit of God dwelled in this tabernacle. For the idea of no place to be built, temple, would have put them different than everybody else. They want to be like everybody else. It's like they wanted a king so they could be like everybody else. Now they want a temple so they can be like everybody else. While they had a tabernacle, a place of worship, it was not to be settled in one place. While what David is wanting to do is honorable, God ultimately tells him no. At this point in time, Jerusalem selected because it's the city where the king is. David sets up a reign. So Jerusalem selected, and the temple would be there until it would be later destroyed and rebuilt and then destroyed again. There's no temple today. But either way, God settles and is like, yes, you can build my house. But the fact that there was a house built did not mean God was limited to that place. Because today, we believers have the Holy Spirit, but to think we're the only ones that have the Holy Spirit is silly, because He moves outside of us as well, drawing people in who's lost, even though they may neglect Him for a time. The Spirit works outside of us just as much as He does inside of us, because no one person or one building can house God. The idea that they thought they could, God's like, no, you can't. While you can build my temple, this ain't the only place I'll dwell. It's kind of when He was speaking to Solomon and David. Now it was in the heart of David, my father, to build a house for the name of the Lord, the God of Israel. So it was put on David's heart to build a house because he looked at what he had and saw God being in the tent. And his motive was right. And God honors it. And this is why the temple is being allowed to be built by Solomon. David did not build the temple because he's a man of war. And even though he was a man of war after God, David takes to know, doesn't try to change God's mind. Instead, he does what he can to prepare the building of the temple, which collecting supplies, maybe even having plans or put together for when Solomon can build it. Because David goes after and does everything. He takes the no, accepts it, and does what he can, which shows the integrity and heart of David to get this done. And sometimes when we are told no, we move off in a different direction and lose heart. David didn't. David kept the same heart that wanted him to build it, so he did what he could. And oftentimes that's what God would want us to do when we hear no. Do what we can.